for C'est La Vie's fifth lesson. Does all cheese go well with wine? I've always wanted to host a cheese and wine party at my home. You know, get all your family and your friends together, different types of cheese, some wine from all over the world, and find out at the end of a great night, with a lot of laughs, what's the best pairing that you can have. But there's thousands of different types of cheese and hundreds of different types of cheese in the store, not to mention thousands of types of wine. So the question is, does all cheese go well with wine? And are there like certain types of classic cheese and wine pairing that I can follow?
People think that pairing wine with cheese is a fairly easy exercise because if you look at the greatest wine regions around the world, whether it's Italy or France, they all produce cheese, and you would think that naturally they go very well together, and they do. But pairing the right cheeses, which number in the hundreds, with the right wine can be as challenging as pairing great Cantonese food with wine. Here are some tips on pairing cheese with wine. First, if you're going with strong blue cheeses, like Roquefort, then the best pairing with that kind of salty, strong flavor is a sweet wine. If you're talking about soft, creamy cheeses, a lot of that depends on maturation and age, of course, but the milder soft cheeses like Brie, the creamy ones, really go well with a lot of different types of white wine. And there are hard cheeses, of course, that many people love. They're very strong, they can be salty. You can pair them with strong flavored wines with, let's say, some residual sugar. You can also pair them with red wines, but you have to be kind of careful because strong salt with tannins can really fight against each other. So it really depends on the maturity of the cheese, as with the wine. So those are my tips, and I hope that you enjoy, in general, more white wines with cheese because that's an easier pairing than red wines. Welcome, Edward and Rihanna. Let's just have a simple toast. No.
Yes.
I know you know each other, but I just want to do a brief introduction. Edward Feng, he's a retired lawyer, but actually I think you're more of a bon vivant, loving all the finer things in life, like art, great food. You're a great chef as well, and a big wine collector.
Thank you.
So, and Rihanna Chow, an artist and one of the best home chefs that I know. Great taste in just about everything, including food. So we'll start with some very typical cold appetizers, but I think, you know, when you think about Shanghainese food, Edward, and I know you cook and you also go out a lot, what are the flavors of Shanghainese food?
For the traditional Shanghainese cuisine, maybe sometimes you consider a little bit too oily, too sweet. So when it comes to pairing with wine, it got to be watch out.
So I chose to start with a pretty light-bodied, unoaked, clean, sharp, lemony, citrusy Pinot Grigio. Jellyfish works well. The crunchiness,
yes,
and I think the crispness of the acidity really works well. We have the next dish now. This is the shredded mandarin fish with just slivers of preserved vegetables. And I thought because we have, in fact, if it was just the fish, I might have chosen a different wine, but then I thought because the preserved vegetables add saltiness and a different dimension, that we needed something a little bit more fruity. And so looking to California, Calera, it's very young, but it has all that vibrancy. And as Edward, you were saying earlier, it's too cold.
Yes, it is.
So this is what you do if the wine is frozen?
Sorry, your assistant. Make a mistake.
To warm it up?
Yep.
And well, immediately you get that richness, even on the nose. You get the oak flavors, this hint of butter, the tropical fruits.
Right.
It's full, it's generous.
So this one you don't mind to have a little bit of oakiness
Actually,
to it.
with California Chardonnay, I would say that you actually expect oakiness, right? If you're just having the mandarin fish, without anything else, just like this, you would want a very delicate wine. Try it with the wine. Do you think in this situation, the wine is the star and overpowering, or is it the fish that is, because of its texture and quality, taking over the partnership?
For this particular dish, would you say the pickled vegetable is the essence of this dish? So I actually prefer it a little bit sweeter. This has a little bit bitterness to it.
So now we've come to our final course, classic meat dish from Shanghai. And because of its richness and the braised character, so the idea is for us to kind of give some tips to people who, who may not pair wine and food as often as you do, I know, in your homes. And if you're having, braised food dishes, whether it's a Shanghainese dish or somewhere else, because you have this richness of the sauce.
Yes, for this very traditional, so heavy sauce type, it got the full body red wine, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Right. So the thing for me, I'm thinking is, I know the wine is full of character. It's ripe. It tastes like a traditional Cabernet, dark blackberry fruit, a little bit of cedar, maybe a hint of tobacco, but it's very upfront, right? Very forward, as you would expect from Chile. And let's try this.
Yep.
So fruity, this one.
And for this wine, it reminds me Korean beef.
Ah, yes.
I would love to have this wine together with Korean beef.
Yes.
Some spiciness,
Yes.
sauce, roast beef with
full,
Korean
robust.
sauce.
I think if I were to rate it, I would say that the pairing is probably a little above average, very good but not great. I think if it was supposed to be better as a pairing, I would have a wine with just a little more refinement and restraint, a gentleness, because the sauce is actually layered and there are a lot of things going on. And so, although you still want the character and the strong personality of the wine, so that
But it's all because of style of cooking.
Yeah.
This serve, do it this way.
Right.
They're so refined than usual.
Right.
With cooking.
Right.
I like it. I love it.
Fantastic. So now everyone knows how to pair classic Shanghainese dishes with wine. So Edward, thank you for your tips and your time. And Rihanna, thank you for all your insight and sharing all your tips about food and wine and your thoughts. Thank you.
When can we do it again next time?
Next week.
Why not?
Great.
At my place. Or at your place with your cooking.
Why not?
To explore the world of wine, follow us to France, the quintessential wine region of the world. First, Jeannie and I will head to Bordeaux, the oldest and largest wine growing region. Here, we will visit different chateaux, meet some of the biggest names in the wine world. We will also visit Burgundy, where premium Pinot Noir and Chardonnay are produced. After these trips, you may not be an expert in wine, but at least you'll know how to appreciate your glass of wine better. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
How are you?
We're fine, thank you.
So you live here in Bordeaux?
Yes, we do.
Oh, you live in a beautiful city.
Thank you.
What is it like to live here?
Well, it's nice. It's quite peaceful, and people are nice and enjoy going out in the city. Basically,
I see. Yes, of
having
course.
dinner, having a drink, have a glass of wine.
Wine.
Yes.
Do you love wine?
Yes,
Yes,
we do.
yes. Everybody, yes. What does it mean to you to live here in Bordeaux?
Bordeaux and wine is
It's
They're together, right?
Together. It's a friends party afterwards.
So you enjoy the wine with your friends, your family,
Yes.
and it's really
Yes.
in your lifestyle.
Yes.
It's no surprise there are many wine stores in Bordeaux. But don't just look for a wine store, but you should definitely try a wine gallery. Here you can find a wine gallery with all kinds of wines from Bordeaux, and all you need is a card to taste them all. You may not have time to visit all the vineyards, so what are you going to do? Well, in my opinion, visiting a wine gallery is probably your best way for you to discover what your favorite wine is, because they got hundreds of wines here for you to sample, from 10 euros up to 1,000 euros, and extremely knowledgeable staff. Tasting a glass of wine before you buy a whole bottle? This is a smart way to sell wines, as you are charged for a tasting, and at the same time, the consumers are educated and have more confidence in the kinds of wine they want to buy. Now this wine gallery is great. Think of it as a wine buffet, and it's filled with some of the top leading wines in the world. Now we may not be able to afford 1,000 euros for a bottle of wine, but we can afford a small sample. The tasting prices vary, from very expensive to just €1 for wine tasting samples. Just taste as much as you can. If you're still not sure what wine to buy, you can learn more by joining their workshops. There are over 8,500 wine producers in Bordeaux, but how can they sell their wines to the whole world? A negociant greatly facilitates this. With a well-developed distribution system, Bordeaux wine can be sold instantly, and also making Bordeaux wine more and more expensive as you can buy them in advance. Mr. Pierre-Antoine will share with Jeannie how this whole system works.
I think a lot of people don't really understand, Pierre-Antoine, the role of a negociant in Bordeaux. Can you explain a little bit about what negociants do, how they actually help to distribute wines from Bordeaux around the world?
Okay, that's a big question. Thank you for all your nice words. To be successful in this business, it's an enormous amount of a channel of distribution, because if you want, the top restaurants don't buy by cases anymore. They buy bottle by bottle. So that means every day you have to supply for next day, or sometimes the same day, 1 bottle, 2 bottles of the wine. Yes. So you need a channel of distribution which allows you to deliver and to be everywhere, in all these restaurants worldwide, in all these retail places worldwide, in all the most highest high-end places. So, and this is the role of the negociant, to be able to build the channel of distribution which will allow the wine to be available and to be listed worldwide.
Right. For you, what does wine mean to you?
Wine, as you see, is my business, which enables me to have a marvelous life. It is a passion. It is art in a way also, because it's making art. If you are a winemaker, it's making a piece of art.
And that's
taking
why you have
so
art
many
pieces all over
also, yes,
your
I
house
love
even.
to associate that. Yes. And also, I think finally, wine means also sociability with conviviality, because it's you can share extremely sophisticated feelings with a community of people to share this extreme sensation of sophisticated things, where you need to be very educated, and you know perfectly well yourself. People become more and more educated to understand wine and to appreciate, to understand it's very difficult,
and to share.
And to share.
Most
and finally,
importantly,
that's the most important, to be able to understand and to share with friends.
Absolutely. That's why I'm in the industry too. Thank you so much, Pierre-Antoine.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Wow, Jeannie, this is an absolutely stunning chateau.
I know.
Wow, it's breathtaking,
Beautiful.
isn't it?
One of the most photographed chateaus because
Really?
of its beauty and elegance and its style, just like the wine.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. I'm breathless. Fantastic. So who's the current owners?
Well, right now it's owned by Corinne Metz-Mepelis.
Okay.
She is often here, and day to day it's run by Paul Cantellier, whom we'll meet. It's one of the first growths, one of the first 4 that was ranked in 1855.
Wonderful.
So since then, it's been a historic property where the wines that are even 100 years old can taste beautiful.
Wow, wonderful. I could absolutely handle living here. I might need help though.
I'd love to give you a hand.
Well, let's go take a look.
Okay.
Right on. To reveal the secret of how they make the wine, we have to go into the vineyard. And the vineyard manager will tell us more about how he manages the vineyard and how the terroir affects the wine quality.
Donc Château Margaux est premier grand cru classé parce qu'il a un terroir unique. Quand je dis terroir unique, c'est bien sûr le sol, mais également le climat et la situation. Une autre particularité de Château Margaux, c'est sa situation. Elle est très près du fleuve et le fleuve a un rôle modérateur également au niveau du climat, jamais très froid, jamais très chaud. Et puis également ça apporte aussi de la réverbération au niveau de la lumière. Donc il y a des lumières, une luminosité assez importante dans le Médoc et surtout sur tous les vignobles qui sont situés en bordure du fleuve.
Today, we are so honored to have Paul Pontillier, the managing director of Château Margaux, share a few vintages with us.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate having the opportunity to taste with you, and Chateau Margaux is always such a beautiful property to visit.
Thank you.
So thank you. And I've noticed that you prepared some great vintages for us.
Yes, I thought that it would be wonderful to taste or retaste together 3 of the vintages which I think have been not only great vintages but which are very good to drink now. Let's start with 01.
Thank you. Paul, for me, when I enjoy Chateau Margaux, outside of many other properties and styles of wine, so much of the pleasure I get is in the aromatics.
Yeah.
That many times if I have a glass, like a perfume.
It's very true. I think that this is one of the 2 main characteristics. First of all, the scent, like a perfume, which is very correct. And you blend your nose, and there is that special perfume, which is very hard to describe.
It is.
It's a different flavor.
It's more than words. It's a feeling and a sensation you get from it.
That's wonderful, Anthony. That's exactly, it's an emotion almost.
Well, that would make the difference between the great wines and the others. Let's go to the next one. So next one, 99. I think somewhere 99 is maybe one step above 01, which is why I just organized that order.
Really, I mean, we don't want to compare because they're very different vintages, but the order in which you poured them is perfect. This one does have a little more depth, and it's very, very fresh.
It seems to be a substance, a bit more substance to it, for my own lack of words and ignorance. But I do understand what you're saying.
It's the complexity,
Yes.
the depth, the richness. On the other side, the easy drinkiness. We often get wrong in thinking that great wines should be difficult to drink. It's exactly the opposite. Great wines behave like great people. They are easy. We have an easy relationship.
And thank you for this 96. The 96 is, this is the
complexity of it.
Just on the nose. You don't really have to even say anything. These are the kind of wines that actually make me as a commentator or writer really struggle for the right words, because to me it's an experience. So how do you describe an experience? It's like listening to great music. It's a moment and you're trying to capture it and you think, oh, it's not good enough, no matter what I say.
Thank you for your wines, your history lesson, and it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, Anthony. Well,
Thank you.
cheers.
Thank you again,
Jenny.
Paul. Thank you.
Wonderful to see you again.